Good evening, November Foxtrot.
Evening, all.
Hi, Andy. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Did you want to talk about why Lance isn't here?
Yeah, as some of you may or may not have heard, Lance has recently had a bereavement in the family, which was very sudden. So he's just going to take a few days away with his family, just to try and help sort things out. So obviously, our prayers all go to him and his family for the loss, but he won't be on for the next couple of days. So, yeah, just bear with us. So there is only going to be two of us for a little while, but he is floating around in the background. We just all send our prayers for him and his family. So hopefully they can get through the difficult time. But yeah, that's why he's not here tonight.
So he'll be missed.
Yes.
Yeah, I know he's going through some stuff.
Yes.
So. Hi, Kenny. Hi, Callsign Chewbacca. Hi, Rooftop Rambo. Terry, Les, James. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome in.
Evenings, alls.
How are you, Andy?
I'm fine. It's Wednesday. I'm happy-ish.
Hi, Will. Hi, James Short. Sorry, a whole load of messages just all came in at the same time.
Where did that lot come from?
Yeah, I don't know. Hi, Matthew. Hi, Des. Fresh Meat. Daniel Brewer. Les says, sending love to Lance and his family.
Yep, 100%.
Kenny says, hashtag hugs for Lance. Matthew says, evening, lads, and I'm sorry to hear that. I'm reading these out because I don't know if Lance is actually listening in. He'll probably listen back. So I think it's good that he actually gets that. So Daniel says, evening, gents, send him our thoughts. Stephen Whitehead says, yo.
Perfect.
So yeah, hi.
Evening, all.
Should we do some news?
Pew's news. Oh, we can't do it as good as Lance.
No. But
I'll change
we'll
my background. We'll try. We'll try and Pew's news it.
I take my gun and I go, pew, 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 pew.
News. Someone
bought a shield. It's very big. This is the for those that follow us on Facebook. I don't think we put it on anything else.
Yeah, no, we didn't. We just put it on Facebook.
This is the United Shield International Kent Shield, ballistic shield, that I bought from Prepper's Shop. They had these as very limited stock. I've always wanted a riot shield. I don't care if I can't potentially use it at an event. I own a riot shield. So yeah,
actually,
that's quite exciting.
You own a ballistic shield, not a riot shield. That's not just
technically it's a ballistic shield. Yeah. I mean,
What's it
in all
rated up
fairness,
to?
anything 9mm definitely, because I looked it up. But it's a training version, and I'm not 100% convinced that it's ballistic rated. But I can't see why, because it's definitely weighty, and I looked up the specs for the proper ballistic shields, and it is the same weight, but I don't know if it's actually ballistic rated. I don't care. For what I need it for, it doesn't need to be ballistic rated.
I've bought it.
It weighs about 4 kilos. Yeah, it's got some fancy armrests on the back, so you can use it multi-directional. There's a gun rest on whichever side that you decide to have it. I'm planning to give it a bit of a spray paint, clean it up. I'm going to be attaching a Mark V holster to the inside, so I can hopefully fit 3 Mark Vs to the inside of it. So if we're using it for any breaching, I'm also looking at buying a light that will Velcro onto the front panel. So as you're entering the room, you can use the trigger unit. You'll have a light mounted in the middle. I'm going to spray paint it green, possibly. I don't know. There's all sorts of very exciting things I'm planning to do. Stick some Velcro to it so I can throw some patches. I had debated making a spandex cover. So use of spandex, because it's obviously a taut material, so I can make it quite tight and it will stretch over that. So I could have like different covers for different scenarios. It's going to make a NoFo cover for it. Probably just a big orange shield with a big black fox in the middle of it. You can have police, you can have all sorts.
FBI.
So I am very, very excited.
I was debating I made one of those.
10% discount using the code NoFo10 at Prepper's Shop. So
it's back on.
It is. It's working. James says bring it to Red Tide. We could bring it to Red Tide, although I'm in the cartel, so I don't know quite how that'll work.
It'll work. We can make it work.
Yeah.
spray it red with your spandex.
Yeah. Call sign Chewbacca says, I was told off I was going to get one. Yes.
Why did you tell
I
them?
too had an interesting conversation with the wife because the box it got delivered in, for some reason, and this isn't a criticism, but for some reason, the shield was packaged flat. But clearly the only box that they could package that in was about 3 or 4 feet deep.
Oh,
So this absolutely whacking great box turned up, and I've actually now converted it into a Wendy house for my daughter.
I was going to say it's
so-
huge.
Yeah, I'll post a picture of that onto the socials in a little bit because I've given it a pitch roof. This Wendy house, it's banging. I've got a little light on the inside. It's great.
Yeah, no camo netting though.
No
Not
camo
yet.
netting yet.
Yeah,
Not yet.
you'll have to get some up there.
Yeah, but I'm very excited. I've always wanted a riot shield. I wanted to build one at one point, or a ballistic shield, whatever you call it. I wanted to build one at one point, and I thought I bought all the stuff to build it, and never got around to building it, and then that popped up on Prepper Shop. I think they were £70 on Prepper Shop.
65, I think, and then £5 postage, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which
So
I
obviously
thought
with
was pretty good.
with the NoFo code, NoFo 10. So, which
10%.
somebody
Quick
asked me
math.
again the other day, actually, if we get any money for that, and we don't. We don't get any money for
Nope.
all the codes that we have on our website. I don't know if that's possibly just poor marketing on our front. Maybe we should have agreed some sort of compensation for that. But ultimately, the reason that we've got the codes on there is that we believe in the shops.
And it's what we use.
Yeah. So there you go.
I am slightly jealous of that.
It's very
It is-
cool.
Yeah. I was tempted
I mean,
when they popped up.
I
was
get
like,
I get the whole conversation about riot shields, and Kenny said, "Is that why you asked about shields?" So, yeah, you know, I do understand that shields are cack in airsoft for the majority of stuff. Like, it is a nightmare when you're fighting up against a shield. If people don't know certain rule sets, it becomes confusing. You know, there's the whole, "Oh, I shot you. No, you didn't. Oh, you know, I'm using a Barrett 50 cal sniper rifle to shoot you with, so that would go through it." It's like, no, it's airsoft. But I think there is scope that we can use it for some events in the future, and it would just be in conjunction with game organisers if we do. But ultimately, worst case, it's going to make a lovely addition to my wall. So that's my plan.
and it will be going to
Typically,
NAE, I'm
Steve
guessing.
416. Hello. No, I don't think you can take it to NAE, but we will be bringing it to
Oh,
NAE.
will they not? Yeah, we'll take it. Screw them.
Yeah, we'll take it anyway, even as just a showpiece.
I'll take it out. I'll get banned.
Just my personal opinion is, if you're using a shield and you limit yourself to a pistol, say, or you know, maybe even no gun whilst you're running the shield. So literally, you've just got the shield. You know.
So no shield and PKM or LMG.
No, I don't think the LMG Ghillie shield sniper is probably a good idea.
Yeah, just all of it. What is this armored bush running towards me?
Oh yeah, man! I could make a Ghillie
Ghillie.
cover for it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Ghillie shield.
Yeah, ghillie shield.
I'll have to have a chat with Silly Ghillie, and we'll do something.
And they'll...
Yeah, that'd be entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do get it. You know, it's a pain, but I think there are certain events where, I mean, if you did a police event, for example, or you're doing a lot of CQB, you know, Longmore, good example for that. If you're doing a lot of breaching or stuff like that, you know, I think there's certain rule sets that you can put in place that make them viable.
Well, it's a genuine tactic, isn't it? Like, there's a lot of
Exactly.
a lot of armed forces actually use them. I've seen training videos of our armed forces using them for breaching. It's a genuine tactic. It's like camping with an LMG. It's a tactic. Can't have a go at
No one
someone
likes
for-
campers, but
No
that's
one
'cause they
likes
get a lot of
campers.
kills.
Yeah, no one likes them, but it's a legitimate legitimate tactic.
To give you an idea as well, so the shield itself measures 810 mil in length. I don't know why I gave it to you in millimeters. It's 81 centimeters, and I'm 178 centimeters tall. So the majority of my body is not going to be covered by that shield. In height, in width, fortunately, it's wide enough to accommodate me. But yeah, I think there's certainly ways and means around it, and I think it would be fun to do.
Well, it's mainly to open the door, get in there, get some pyro in there, and then your assault section move through after you, don't they? That's all it is. It's just you're the front man.
Exactly. Which makes a big difference because normally I'm the poor sod running around at the back with the LMG.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not allowed inside.
Harry says, regular at Toddlers has a shield, occasionally causes issues, especially around blind firing. Completely agree. I think ultimately, if you then aren't allowed to fire whilst you're operating the shield, simple, you're basically there as a movable defence at that point, which I have also been used as without the shield anyway. So,
Don't shoot Mike.
Kenny says DTW use one in their CQB, but only in certain game modes.
Yeah.
Callsign Chewbacca says just need a sledgehammer, then you'll be really operator.
Yeah.
I do have my mag holster. I'll grab it 2 seconds. I use it to pin the camo net up against the scaffolding. But the mag master, which I've clearly used a lot, seeing as it's still in the packaging. But this is a magnetic holster for tools and things like sledgehammers. I've seen 2 of these hold a sledgehammer on someone's molly plate carrier. So there you go. That could be the.
You could just go for
a bit
rubber
of fun in the future.
So you don't
Yeah.
give some poor airsoft a concussion or brain hemorrhage where you smack them on the head with it.
Yeah, I've not seen a rubberized sledgehammer. That would be quite entertaining.
Oh yeah, you can get them off of what's the place called? I think they're called LARP weapons.
Rubbersledgehammers.com.
Yeah. No, there's a bloke on that makes LARP weapons. And the stuff that he makes is phenomenal. And he's got like proper flowing braids and things like that, all made out of foam, but they're weighted so they can actually get some distance on them. I'll see if I can remember the website.
Yeah, have to look it up. That'd be quite cool. Kenny says, "Be ready to be shot in the feet." Yeah, completely agree. I mean, that's ultimately the best tactic to take them out. I mean, if you look at a lot of SWAT reference photos, the ballistic shields they're using do not cover anything from the waist down, because obviously people are generally firing at centre of mass, and that's the point of the shield, is to give the people behind you the opportunity to have a little bit of cover, but take the shot ahead of somebody else having the ability to shoot you, because most people are obviously aiming at the centre of mass, not at the groin or legs, unless you're some sort of psychopath or really short, I guess.
Yeah, you go up against the Seven Dwarfs, you'll be in trouble.
Yes. I wasn't going to take it that far, that's why I went with really short, but yeah. Anyway, you've got some purchases this week.
I bought loads of stuff this week. What should I start with? I bought a new cup.
The cup, yeah.
A new spoon to go with because I bent my last long spoon. I may have accidentally sat on it.
Couldn't you just bend it back?
No, because when I bent it back, it was quite thin on this point. So as I bent it back, it just was like loose, and I thought, right, well, a couple of mouthfuls of that is just going to fall off in my mouth, and I'll just have a spoon like that long. So threw that away. It's all really silly stuff as well, like a new Olight charger. That was probably the most expensive thing that I bloody bought. And then my new light, my Miltech light. It has 2 buttons, one for red. Oh, it's run out of battery. Oh well, that's good. Oh no, there you go. And then one for red. And it has 2 settings on the red. And that's it. 2 buttons, 2 colours. I thought that's nice and simple. I don't have to flick through everything then.
Yeah, it's not overly complicated.
No. And then my stick.
Sorry, Daniel Brewer said Andy's the secret Uri Geller.
Uri Geller, yeah. No, it was just my fat ass. It's just... And then my stick.
Yes.
My fancy stick. Did you load up the photo, or do I have to build it live?
No, I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you make it throughout. We'll progressively. We'll probably move on and then have to come back while you build this.
So this turns into a saw. Let's see how quickly I can do it while we're talking. And I bought all of this off of Cadet Store. Is it Cadet Store? Cadet Shop. Because I
Yep.
thought, well, what better place to buy? Look,
Is it Cadet Direct?
Cadet Direct, that's the one.
That's the one, yeah. It's a good store. That they do a really good brochure. I mean, that's probably not the sign of a good store, but they have a good like little brochure that you can get sent to you that sort of runs through the latest bits and pieces. I have contacted them previously to see if we could get a discount with him, but they've not come back to us yet on that one. So,
well, I will plug them again and see what they say.
Sorry, it's my call sign Chewbacca saying Mike's bought a Harrier jump jet. I don't know if my fan might be too loud. I'm really sorry. I am going to be buying a new computer, so I there's not a lot I can do about it. I can just mute myself.
No, that's better. Well, now it's just all about me. And look, Bill,
thanks.
Hand saw for chopping down trees. I thought that was pretty good for next week. Yeah. Give it a go. It's quite sharp, which is nice. Sometimes they can be a bit wank. Excuse my language, but they can be a bit pathetic. But yeah, no, I'm impressed with that. So yeah, that was my purchases. Oh, and a new AK mag for my GHK. And that was it.
Am I too quiet now? Can you just
no,
let me know
you're
if
fine.
I'm too quiet? Yeah. Is that less noisy?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm so used to it now, I forget about it.
Sorry. It's like Stockholm syndrome. By the time I actually get it fixed, it's really quiet in here now. Yeah. It's strange.
We miss it.
There's a few people, Andy, that I think have just jumped on. So I don't know if you want to just explain where Lance is again.
Oh, right, yes. So Lance had a bereavement in the family, guys and girls. And he's just taken a few days to spend time with his family and help get everything sorted and settled. And obviously he's been affected by it as well. So obviously we just giving him some time away from us. And hopefully he'll be back soon.
Sorry, it's not funny. It's not funny at all, but it's the time away from us.
Well, it is a bit, isn't
it? We're too much for him.
Yeah, we're too much. We're too much for most people.
Yeah. Marky Mark says, sorry I'm late. Long story, but ultimately ended up with me punching my driveway and it's been in ice for a bit. Please pass on my condolences to Lance. Hug, big man. There's a story there, which I'm going to have to catch up with you later, Mark. I want to know.
That sounds like
Ray says, you can get foldable saws, Andy, and hand axes.
And foldable saws, I've had 3 now, and they're shite because they break on the fold section. Whereas this is quite solid. Well, it feels solid, at least. But I'm sure I'll break it because I tend to, because I'm just a heavy-handed brute with stuff like that. But yeah. And I've got a hand axe and a machete and things like that. I just thought this was a cool idea. Plus, it gave me enough money for free postage. Always thinking ahead.
They do the Cadet Direct to the ones that do the massive glow sticks, aren't they?
Yes. I've still got 2 of those left as well, which I want to use.
Yeah, if anyone's not seen those, definitely head over to Cadet Direct and look up the Jumbo Tactical Light Stick. They are about 1.5 foot long, and they are very good. I don't know really, unless you're directing traffic, what they would be useful for.
They're pretty good if you're
like the guy that's landing planes, perhaps.
Yeah, they're quite good if you run out of a building waving it while screaming. It does put people like, what is happening?
I think, to be fair, you could stick a couple of them together if you were trying to do a cheap lightsaber. You could probably stick a couple of them together.
Epoxy
they're pretty impressive. But yeah,
they're quite stiff as well, aren't they? They've got a very thick lining.
Yeah, you're making it weird now. Let's move on. We're obviously doing.
I've got to do the job of 2 people this week.
I know. We're doing a Q&A this week. So if you have a question, you want to throw something into the mix, please feel free to do so. You can whack it in the chat with a Q. The front of it just helps me find them, basically, as we're going through. So we had a question come in. from Marky Mark, this was previously. If cash was no option, what's the one bit of kit you'd love to get?
Ooh, kit, or just like anything. Because if money was no object,
Marky Mark's in the chat, so he can let us know.
Well,
I would assume anything from that question.
You've always said that if I win the lottery, the first thing that I'd go and do would be I'd go down to Humvee store and buy a Humvee with a turret, and then go and buy a mini gun and put the two together and just have fun around Hemel Hempstead. that would be my main thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, it's a toss up for me because it's a case of practicality. I say practicality as if buying airsoft stuff is a practical need.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't get me wrong, the vehicle route is definitely very appealing. Like if you've got any amount of money, then clearly, you're going to be going and getting, as Kenny says, a Marauder APC, or Harry says a tank. I think the vehicle is clearly, the go-to.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, I would probably save myself a bit of time and just buy a bomb disposal unit instead of trying to build one. That'd be pretty cool. Like a proper bomb disposal unit.
Well, I'll tell you what, you do that. I'll get the IFV. And then between the two of us, we've got our own little transport squad.
Yeah, no, I think I'll probably do that as well.
I think from a practical aspect, though, so assuming that we're ruling out silly levels of money, it probably would have to be some sort of night vision or thermal for me, because I don't own anything like that currently. It's something that I will probably, depending on how things go this year, I might be getting something towards the end of the year. Oh yeah, Rage has just said, so you've won the lottery and you stop at a Humvee, little bird, motherfucker. The problem with having a little bird would be great, but you can't fly it unless you got a helicopter license.
That is why I didn't go. I was going to say Chinook, but you could put me in one. I'd be like, ooh, what do all of these buttons do?
I guess arguably if you had one, it would probably make learning to fly a little bit more of a higher priority.
Yeah, that'd be true.
But then it's the maintenance on these things as well. That's the thing. It's always that kind of. I mean, unless you've got a 10-year maintenance plan that comes with it, and all the rest of the housing and airport fees and all of that. I don't know.
And no bastard would get in it with me if literally. I guarantee. Guarantee it. Anyone that's listening, right? Put a thumbs up if you'd get in a helicopter if I was flying. I guarantee no one does. Right? So that would be why I wouldn't get into a helicopter. Yeah. I guarantee they'd all get into a Humvee with me driving.
I mean, that's marginally questionable. Well,
yeah, but I've got more chance of people joining me in the Humvee than they have in a helicopter.
Oh, you've got a thumbs up. You've got John Smith has liked it, so he's either liked the episode or he has. Marky Mark apparently would.
Well, that's two.
Stephen Whitehead said, buy an old quarry with a few industrial buildings, make the best Milsim venue in the country. See, this is, I guess, kind of bordering on way past just getting a bit of kit at this point. This is just like, you've got £1 billion. What would you do with it?
A billion, I'd buy an island and have a literal airsoft island.
Yeah.
No, I'd buy Ireland.
You'd buy Ireland.
I'd buy Ireland. I'd be like, come on, Ireland.
Yeah. I think in that aspect, see, I probably would, I don't know if we'd have enough to buy Ireland itself, but I do agree. Like if you had the ability, because if you look at a lot of sites at the moment that are kind of the MOD ones that have kind of got the proper built up villages and stuff, because they're all MOD, there's so many restrictions on whether you can use it or not. Whereas I think if you had that level of money, it would probably be worth buying like your own little private Fibua site. A quarry or something like that would be a good shout. Actually do it as a training venue, so you could rent it back to the MOD as a venue site that they can rent from you. But then you could also rent it out for film companies, TV shows. Airsofters would be all over that. You run your regular monthly Milsim. Yeah. Marky Mark's been on the chat. He says my question would be anything from kit to AEG, but it's open to interpretation.
we just ran with that one. We just went, ooh, what can we buy? Kit wise, like personal kit wise, I would quite like.
While you're
to
thinking,
have
sorry, there's a lot of thumbs down going on.
Yeah, I told you. I'd quite like one of the, the SEAL team where they've got all the data readers. I'd build an airsoft version of that for the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So you'd go there with on site your team. You'd hand them out, and everyone would be able to communicate properly. That would be something that would be pretty cool. That would be nice.
Well, like a proper team, like mesh.
Yeah.
Net.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
That would work. That'd be fun as well. Because also as well, it'd be quite interesting to see. Everyone is so used to communications not working. It would be quite interesting to see what actually people do when communications work. Just start. Oh my god, I don't know what to do.
I genuinely can't think of anything that I would specifically want. Like if it's almost like that's that choice of anything, I can't pin it down to a specific bit of kit. I guess just the most consistent rifle that you could have.
So HPA.
Well, HPA, but if you could get an AEG that's like proper consistent, bang on the money, 350 feet per second and 0.2s, or whatever the equivalent is for the BB that you're using, just consistently all the time, like bang on every shot, it's always reading that value. That would be cool. Just you reduce any of this issue with your rifle suddenly shooting 3 BBs at a time when you're only meant to be firing 1, or all the little problems and stuff. Just get like a proper, expensive, nice working AEG.
Yeah.
Or gas blowback. Because having a gas blowback, I love gas blowbacks, but they are so inconsistent sometimes, especially in the winter where you struggle with the mags. EBBs are probably better for that, but they're obviously not quite as nice, I guess, as a gas blowback.
Although those bolt ones are pretty good. Those bolts, when they're done up, they're very nice.
But you don't get that venting of gas coming out of it like that.
That's true.
I've yet to find an EBB that fires that gives that level of kick that a gas blowback does. Sorry, I'm just running through the chat at the same time. Marky Mark says there was that island at the coast of Scotland many years back, only for a couple million.
Oh yeah. Suppose if you won, yeah.
Stephen Whitehead said I'd settle for Deep Fire M72 to finish off my Falklands loadout.
Nice.
I'm not reading Leslie's comment out. Sorry, Les.
I will. I'd buy AI 500 and then blow it up.
John says Mike go HPA 249 with a backpack magazine feed, then you'll be spot on. Yeah, that's not far off, to be fair.
Daytona system. Boop, boop, boop. That was arousing at that event, I tell you. When he goes, you can have a fire of that. I was like, I'm not moving from this spot. I'm just like, this is now my. It was quite impressive, wasn't it? With that big HPA tank, yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Very nice.
Harry actually has a good point. I think I'm going to save this one for a later time. He says, maybe rephrase the question and you can only buy from preppers or fire support, etc. Other shops are available. So I'm going to save that one. We'll use that one for next time. We'll do a bit of research in advance as to, you get £100 or £200. What would you go and buy from a shop or one of the shops? And that'd be quite entertaining.
Yeah. No, I like that one. Yeah.
Oh, Les says, I'd buy you 3 boys and make you my bitches.
How much were you winning?
Well, Les, if you want to do that, we actually have our
we
have
a
coffee page, which if you become the legendary NoFo folder.
Yeah. We actually have bitch mode on there. I've
So
also
that is a possibility. There you go.
I've also discovered a very lovely, or made a very lovely steak rub, which is very excellent. So,
Okay.
and that is definitely worth that. Just saying.
Okay. Oh, right. Let's move on from that one.
Yeah. Lance is going to be listening back to this thinking, what the f- are these two
I
on
leave them-
about?
I leave them for a week, and this is what
Yeah.
happens. James Casson says, "What do you have planned for the year?"
What do I have planned for the year? Barely got plans for the end of the month, let alone the year.
Well,
Well,
we've got
so far Machiavellian
Machiavellian
this
weekend.
Machiavellian,
Mhm.
Machiavellian,
Okay.
and Red Tide. I'll be at Shift Your Rifts over in Abingdon. That's a weekend airsoft festival event thing.
When's
Other
that
than
one?
that, that's about, I don't know, May, I think. It's quite good. It's basically an airsoft car boot, but you can also go and play airsoft. So yeah, it's pretty good. Other than that, I haven't really got anything else planned. I want to try and get, if someone gets an event there this year, I want to try and get up to one of the good MOD sites again. Maybe get into a Sterling event if I feel up to it and I lose a little bit of weight. That'd be my plan for the year. If I can get back up to one of them, I think that'd be good. The woods, is it the woods or the forest that they
Trees.
do? The trees. Oh yeah, I want to try that one. I haven't been up there, but I've heard it's proper killer. I want to try it.
We've got NAE National Airsoft Festival.
Oh yeah,
We're going to be at as well this year. So end of August, bank holiday weekend, we'll be there. If anyone would like to join us for that, you're more than welcome to. We are planning, I guess, loosely, a kind of NoFo compound.
with searchlights apparently.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. No, we're going to have like a NoFo compound, or the idea is like that we're sort of trying to all pitch up together, sort of have a gazebo, bit of barbecue going on and stuff like that, as well as sort of try and get out to the bar in the evening on the Saturday night, I think it is. Have a few drinks down there and a bit of a laugh and a boogie. So if anyone's coming along, let us know.
Or we could have our own.
Sort of,
I could have our own laugh and a boogie.
we can have our own laugh and a boogie,
get
but there's
my
an
DJ
actual
decks
bar
out.
at their laugh and a boogie.
Yeah, but it's really expensive.
No, true, you're right. We might have to kind of like t-shirts or like get some sort of orange t-shirts so people can find us, because I know it's a bit of a nightmare sometimes when you see if camouflage.
Yeah.
Harry says, "Ooh, the trees is a monster. I did it once and died. Would only do it again if it was a vehicle." In a vehicle.
Yeah, no, I want to try it because it apparently is a proper hard weekend.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading questions.
Yeah,
this is
well
what happens
then,
when it's just the two of us. It's like
I'm just waiting for him. This is what happens in life as well. When we're off air, I'm just sitting there. You all right, Mike? Mike?
Yeah, busy.
Yeah, what? I haven't got my ears in.
Yeah, so there we go. Right, this was from Instagram. I don't have a name saved. I don't drive, but really want to get into meal sims. How would you best go about getting to events?
Ask. No, seriously. I know it's going to sound stupid, but when I first started reenacting, I didn't drive. And I messaged on the group and said, look, I don't drive. If anyone's passing, I'm happy to pay petrol money for you to kind of detour and pick me up and take me to the events. Everyone was more like, obviously, if they were passing, they were all more than happy to come and pick me up. Because at the end of the day, if you're starting to get into meal sims, you're the future of meal sims. And we're slowly breaking down that idea that meal sims are elite, I think. Well, I hope we're breaking that down. That Milsims aren't
I think
elite
people
anymore.
watch us and think that they're definitely not elite in any
Oh yeah,
context.
yeah,
So, and we do Milsims, so
yeah.
there you go.
Well, we try to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I would ask. I'd book on, ask the event organizer, if there was if he knows if there was anyone local, if there's like a Facebook group that you can jump on, and just ask. Don't be afraid. And obviously, if we're going to an event and you're near to us, just give us a shout as well. I'm always happy to make a little detour and take someone to their first event, and hopefully, yeah, it will give you the incentive to get driving as well.
Yeah, I mean it's hard if you can't drive for whatever reason.
It is hard.
Or don't drive for whatever reason. I think that's probably a better way to put it. Because I get that it obviously makes things trickier. I mean, I know that there's a number of people that do take riffs on trains and things to get to events and sort of public transport. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, if you pose the question to event organisers, it's in their interest to try and help you get to their event.
Yeah, definitely.
I think one of the things I would suggest as well is just expanding on the question slightly is if you've never been to a Milsim before and you're on your own, just again try and engage. You know, if any of the three of us are ever at an event, please just let us know if you want to like hang out. This is not how I wanted to answer this question. I was trying to make it less weird.
There we go. Come and join us in our compound.
But the point I'm trying to make is that if you're coming to an event and you don't know anyone, and we're there, just link up with us. It'll be fun to do. We always like meeting new people and stuff like that. And yeah, I think the key is just don't be put off going to an event because you're going on your Todd.
No, sorry, definitely not.
Things just collapsed. Yeah, just have a go. Get involved. Call sign Chewbacca's just signed up for their first one. Let us know where that is, mate. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, let us know how it goes.
So I know Haruch has asked the question twice now. I had flagged it up. I just hadn't got around to it yet about the AEGs. So he says, "What's the least shit airsoft bullpup AEG?"
Oh, I think that new Ares one's meant to be quite good, isn't it?
I don't know. Which one's that?
Ares bullpup tan thing. I think it's based on one of the British Army ones. One of the new. I'm not up on bullpups because I'm not a big fan of them.
Is it the Keltec one?
Might be. I thought it was. We can show pictures of it, can't you? Pictures of guns.
Yeah, I can do.
Guns. Riffs if we're being.
I mean, the only ever experience I've had with a bullpup is the P90. I think it was I want to say TM, but I don't think it's a TM. Haruch said, yeah, if you're talking about the Keltec RDB, I can assure you that they're dog shit. Okay, well, that was the one I was going to show you. So I don't know.
I'm thinking of.
About, but...
Yeah, I'm thinking of something else quickly. Bear me 2 seconds. I'm not even sure what it.
No, the only experience with the bullpup was the P90, which I don't even. No, it was a bullpup because obviously it's got the weird magazine configuration, and that was the thing I really hated about the P90 was the fact that it just the magazines was always jamming and everything like that. It was just a nightmare. But it was proper nice in terms of how short it was and being able to kind of maneuver around corners. And it was one of the very few kind of rifles I've ever used where applying a suppressor actually made quite a noticeable difference to the output of noise.
Oh, really?
P90 isn't a bullpup. Oh, I thought it was. I'm really sorry.
No, P90. No, P90 is not a bullpup. Yeah, because it's on top, isn't it? No, the one that I'm thinking of is, I think it was done by Umrix.
I'm going to correct it now. I'm really sorry, Rach.
You, Belen.
Maybe I don't know anything about P90s. Bullpups. I swear it's a bullpup. Sorry, carry on. I will look it up.
Oh, that's it. The Urmarex license IWIX95. The Trevor Airsoft MART bullpup. Apparently that's meant to be quite good. I've never fired one. I'm just going off of by what people have told me. As I said, unfortunately, I'm not a DMR fan. But yeah,
John Smith
apparently.
says the TM org from Hands on Use is quite good.
Oh,
His experience. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty certain that I'm still working on the P90 bigger bullpup. I swear it was. It's a bullpup design. Yeah, P90 is a bullpup.
no, it's not. Surely.
It is, featuring a compact bullpup design with an integrated reflex sight and fully ambidextrous controls. The FN P90.
Huh.
There you go. Rachel, it's not a bullpup, mate. I don't know. I'm just going with what I've read on the internet. People are shouting at me in the chat, going, "It is a bullpup. It's not a bullpup." I don't know. I thought it was. The mag's on top, not behind the grip and breech. Oh, I don't know. I will.
I just know that
I'll do
it
a
just
bit more
looks like
research.
it's. If you run a P90, if you're not wearing a Stargate uniform, then you don't deserve it. That's it. That's my opinion on that. There you go.
Yeah, the loads. Yeah, sorry, John's just chipped in saying P90 is as the load feed is to the rear. I mean, I guess it's the definition of a bullpup. I wasn't aware that the bullpup needed to be fed from the below. I thought it was just in terms of how the system's configured in terms of your trigger control and everything. Is it ahead of the mag, basically?
Yeah, I think it's if the trigger is in front of the feed.
I don't know what's happened. Sorry, the chat is now just shouting at each other.
Yeah, I suppose so. I always thought that if it, which way does a P90 feed? Backwards, then.
The
Yeah, it must
P90
do.
magazine feeds at the back of the magazine, which is behind
Yeah,
where
so
you've got your hands.
behind the trigger housing. So yeah, that would be classed as a bullpup. All right, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, okay. Problem solved. We have spoken.
You can shout as much as you like. It doesn't make you right. I'm going to have to go away and research this. I'm sorry. I'll come back next week. I'll make a note. Yeah. So in terms of bullpups, then I clearly may or may not know what a bullpup is.
Yeah.
Andy has no experience with a lot of them, so
I just don't like the look of them. Really, personally, I don't like.
Do you
things
think they
going
make
in the
much
armpit
difference? Anyway. Oh no, it's not. It's a pointless question because you've not used one.
What?
Well, I mean,
question,
the benefit of a bullpup, for those that don't know, a bullpup, I don't know why I'm the one explaining what a bullpup is, because clearly I don't necessarily know. But from my understanding, a bullpup is intended that the firing box mechanism is behind the trigger unit, with the theory that it gives you a longer barrel length in a shorter platform.
Right, here you go. Bullpup, a firearm configuration in which both the action and magazine are located behind the trigger and alongside the shooter's face. So there is no wasted space for the buttstock, as in conversion. Yeah, there you go. That's it. And that is what Google, Microsoft Bing has told me. And now I have passed that information over to you.
There you go.
Do with that as you will.
But I mean, in airsoft, obviously, there's advantages to having a longer barrel length in terms of the compression and that you get behind the BB. It's why, sniper rifles, you don't generally tend to get a lot of sort of 2 foot long sniper rifles. You do get some that are like that. But for the most part, having that longer barrel is going to be advantageous from the kind of the
big
technical
words.
side. Yeah.
Advantageous.
So by having the bullpup, it obviously shortens the whole platform down because you're effectively putting things behind other things, and that kind of configuration just saves ultimate space. Um, yeah. So ultimately, let's move on because I don't,
Yeah,
I
mate,
don't, I
stop
don't know the
shouting
answer.
at people. Everyone, stop shouting at each other.
Favorite rifles that or setups that you have own. Sorry, this one came in from One Legion. What's favorite rifles and setups that you either own or have seen?
Mine is M249. There you go. Job done. My M249 in particular. Any M249. Because I hate reloading. I hate carrying extra mags. And I like the Mod 1 version. Mark 46. Nice and compact. Job done. Lots of ammo. Ball gear units all inside. Ball gear box mag.
Mhm.
That's I literally wouldn't have anything else. I would sell every other gun, but that one would stay.
So there's
And
nothing better than what you own.
no,
Okay,
because
fair enough.
that's why I own it. But no, that's my personal opinion. There probably are better weapons out there, but I enjoy it. That's my go-to weapon. And now I've got the PKM, which is the same manufacturer and same internals, and I can put all the same stuff in it. So I can have my Op4 and my Blue 4 LMGs exactly the same. So that's very exciting. So yeah, that would be mine. But then again, can't really argue against the GHK AK. That's just a fun
I have
gun.
to admit, I do like an AK setup. I think the I've been looking to get one, and the kind of the wood furniture and all of that. I just love the aesthetic of. Um, I think sometimes
Yeah.
like rail systems and stuff. Whilst I do like having an attachment, um, the just that kind of proper AK-47 aesthetic, and it's not really even a 47. I think I probably like the AKM or the AK-74 better. But it's that kind of like proper, like it's so iconic. I think as a look. Ultimately, I know you see these M4s and everyone's like, "Oh, it's not an M4. It's actually I don't know, some other
Mark
brand of
18.
M4,
Yeah.
or something like that." Ultimately, it still looks like an M4. Like
Yeah.
people are like, telling you, "Oh, yeah, I've got this really expensive rifle. It's actually modelled on this platform or whatever, and it just looks like an M4." You know. Whereas there are things like the MP9, MP7s, the MP, which is the MP5's type one with the rounded foregrip, not foregrip. I want to
You've
say
lost me.
shroud. It's not a shroud.
What? The
What was I
one
gonna
with
say? The
the
MPSD. You've got
inbuilt.
the SD one. Is that a
Yeah,
9
the
or a
one that's got the.
5 or 6 or?
Is that the one that's got the inbuilt suppressor? You mean? Where you
Yes.
don't actually take the suppressor off?
Yes. Yeah. It's the one that I think the classic James Bond rifle.
Yeah.
I do like the look of that. I love an MP5K. I think it's just such a little iconic
Yeah, there it is.
platform. But I
S-
do like the
SD6.
SD version. Yeah, that's the SD6.
Yeah.
Nice one, thank you.
I knew it was SD something, but
Yeah.
oh yeah, and yes, Steve, it does. The M249 does have a quick change spring, and supposedly, I love this. The PKM has a quick change spring as well, but you
Oh,
have to
okay.
take it. You have to take it apart. Once you got it apart, it's really quick.
Yeah.
It's
Technically,
brilliant.
anything's quick change if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
if you do it
But
quick enough.
you've got to take the whole stock off just to get it out, which is great design there. So I'm probably going to hack that about as well to make that a bit easier.
I'm just literally browsing just in terms of Land Warrior Airsoft. I'm just going through their website because there's a rifle that I was looking for, which is like an M4, but it's got a completely rounded heat shield that runs all the way back up. So you've got like a long outer barrel, but it's not like a big outer barrel. It's like a proper little tight setup, and then you've got like a short heat guard. And I can't find the rifle, but I know that was always a look that I kind of aspired to own probably about 5 or 6 years ago. So when you're sort of looking at things, oh, I'd love something like that. That'd be quite cool.
I've got to admit, I quite like some of the new M4s styles that are taking AK mags. The mashup of the two. I think they're starting to look pretty cool.
But it does look like another M4.
But it does look like an M4 with an AK mag. Although I like the 9. I like an M4 with a 9mm mag as well. Mainly because
I don't like.
People hate them, and I'm just like, I want one because people don't like them, and I'm waiting to be shouted at by rage. No.
I like UMGs are always quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot of platforms I do like. I'm going to flip it round on its head though for a second. What would be a rifle that you hate the look of?
Hate the look of?
Yeah.
Oh, what's
something
that?
that you genuinely would steer away from at any cost?
If someone gave it to me, I would genuinely give it away. And it's what is it? It's the 2000 or something.
The FN 2000. That's what
FN 2000. Oh, it's just so ugly. Who designed it? Like, honestly, that bloke must have been high off his nuts on something.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely not a fan of that one. I'll just grab a picture up quick because it's definitely something worth sharing.
It's just
it's too round. It's just not right.
Yeah, and what's that new pistol?
Maybe people like them. I get it. I mean, it's actually quite P90-esque, but that's actually fed by an M4 magazine. I'm just not a fan.
It's just
Rage says the fish-looking thing.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah,
see, that's a bullpup. Is that a bullpup? That is a bullpup. That's got to be a bullpup, isn't it?
By everyone's definitions in the chat, it's a bullpup. That one.
Yeah, that one is definitely a bullpup. If you're putting the magazine in your armpit, then it's.
So, a couple of people. Terry says if it's not an M4, it's a 9mm. If you put the little mags into it. A couple other comments. So Haruch doesn't like Chris Vector. Stephen Whitehead doesn't like the P90.
Oh yeah, Vectors they're a bit.
John says that an FN 2000 got a good friend has one with a UGL on it. God. Where would you put the UGL?
Yeah, where does that? Oh no, I think it has its own. Literally, you just change the whole bottom arm, you change the whole bottom section to make it work. I think.
Stephen Whitehead, the FN 2000 is like a Nerf Dino gun. Just imagine it in bright orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not something I've got an interest in. There's another one as well. I was just looking up very quickly to see if I could find, which is a Stare. I don't know if you've come across that before.
Stare. You might have to show me a picture of that.
It kind of just doesn't look like it's fully put together.
Is that the one that looks like it's got bits missing?
Possibly. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. I mean, the AUG is always a weird-looking rifle as well.
Yeah, but it's got something about it that looks pretty good.
It's not the. I know AUG is made by Stare. That's not the one I'm looking up. Just in case anybody starts shouting, we might have to go and find it. It's going to take me a little while. I don't know. I can't find it now. It's gone.
I'm not a fan of the new pistol that everyone seems to. The round one. I've forgotten what it's called. It's like a modern Luger looking sort of thing.
Oh, the AAP.
Yeah, But we did one, didn't they? What was it called?
Yes. Some sort of space gun. I think they called it.
It was. It was
marketing as well. This is the. It is actually an AUG.
Galaxy,
by the way, but it's the AUG without the extended barrel on it. I don't like it.
No, it's not.
I think it's that front bit. It doesn't look like it's sort of properly connected to anything. It's.
Yeah, no.
APO01. Maxim 9, Fresh Meat says.
What for me? Maxim 9. No, the Maxim 9s are pretty cool. I was going to buy one, but I'd never use it. No, the one that I was thinking.
Full Speed Airsoft has a HPA AAP01.
Oh.
That would be interesting. I'll have to. If you've got a video of that, I'd definitely be interested in seeing that.
Yeah, it was the WE Galaxy blowback pistol.
That's it, the Galaxy.
Oh. Some people shouldn't be allowed to make stuff. I tell you, with that was. Oh, it's just.
I'll find it quick.
There's a lad that runs it, and it's HPA'd, and he has an M4.
Because they came in weird colours as well, didn't they?
Yeah, he has an M4 drum mag on it, the biggest scope you've seen on it, and a suppressor that's longer than the gun, and he's run a barrel for it, and it's just.
It's very AAP-esque.
Yeah, it's just.
Isn't it? It's that kind of rounded upper.
It's a. Oh no. Just no, I just hate that.
I was going to call it a slide, but I don't know if that actually slides back.
No, because it's a little pull handle, isn't it? Because it can do full auto.
Charging handle at the back, don't you?
Yeah, it's basically a Glock that's been made round.
Ray just said, look up the EM2, the first bullpup the British trialed. EM2. This is now just show and tell as to what
people would like.
What platforms don't we like?
Yeah, let's see how.
Oh god, now this one's horrendous.
Is this the one that they used to give helicopter pilots, or they were going to give helicopter pilots? Is it really small?
Not sure. I can't tell the size of it from this, but that's a look.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's almost like
that looks like something that's been on. There's that Facebook group, isn't there? Like the I can't remember the name of the Facebook group. It's like where they put stuff together and just like weird mashups of different.
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, I know which one.
Heresy, Airsoft Heresy.
A heresy group, yeah. Or heresy, yeah.
Not the heresy group. That's not.
No, not the heresy group. They're saying else. Yeah. But that is quite horrendous, isn't it? Well, I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like that one. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, Les has just said all shit guns are bullpup. We have just looked at quite a lot of. So yeah, maybe there is something in it.
The EM2, yeah, they were quite spectacular.
Hi Tom, welcome in. Tom, let us know, because Tom Hibbard from AATV, you've obviously got quite a lot of experience with different airsoft platforms. What's your best and worst, Tom? Let us know. Be interested to see what you come up with, because. And also, if you know of any really good bullpups, that's because we're failing on that front.
Yeah, we've started like a mini argument in our group. It's just,
let's roll on to a different question.
Yes.
For the moment. So, with Milsim kit, be it clothing or camping supplies, would you say it was a Super League of Gucci kit, and is that the way to go, or is it acceptable to use surplus or non-military kit?
Surplus is fine. I started off with a lot of Viper and cheap kit, and then as that started to fail, because I was doing more intense gameplay instead of just running around, I was literally in mud up to my knees, and the fabrics just failed. I started to increase the price of what I was doing. So, like, instead of Viper, I then went to Emerson, and then I went to these Cry knockoffs, which have lasted me ages. But yeah, I definitely think start off small, and just build your kit up as you go along. You'll never be discriminated against. Would that be the word for wearing Viper? Discriminated, picked on. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think Viper's got a very bad reputation historically. I'm not saying that there aren't some good bits of Viper kit. I mean, we've said that in this chat before. There are some bits of kit that Viper do that. I mean, I run a Viper sling, for example, over the top, the over shoulder sling on that, and I've never had any problems with it. It's I've jumped off walls and things like that. I've never had it fail. In terms of people looking down on you, I think that probably does still exist.
I don't know. I've never seen
rightly
it.
or wrongly. I think that there are, unfortunately, elements in airsoft, and it's not just milsim. I think in airsoft, skirmishing, anything like that, people do. There are some knobheads out there that will look down on other people for having something that's a bit cheap.
But that's a very small amount of people. It's not everyone's going to be turning around and go, well, you can't play because you're not wearing full military spec.
No.
It'll be
I'm just acknowledging the fact that there is still that out there.
Yeah. It'll be one or two people that would maybe say something. But if it was me, I'd just turn around and go to the organisers. They're just being a dick. Because organisers wouldn't want that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I mean, I think camping equipment wise, sometimes I'd probably opt for civilian stuff over military spec. Military spec stuff's good, and it's obviously rugged. But, I mean, there's the age-old thing that ultimately the person who supplies the military will be the lowest bidder. It's probably not always the case nowadays. I think there is sort of an element of quality in that, there's some other aspects to it as well. But I mean, if you look at some of the sort of super lightweight camping equipment that you can get, that's going to reduce potentially if you're using a tent. DD hammocks, for example, a DD hammock tarp is a lot lighter than the standard British Army basher because it's a different material. It's not designed for,
slightly bigger as well, isn't it?
Well, you can get the different sizes. I think you can get a comparable size, but there's a lot more size adjustment to them. I think the material probably melts quicker on a DD hammock tarp because it is a different material. It's that kind of slightly lighter fabric. So I think there's bits of kit out there. I mean, like my sleeping bag. So I used to use a Snug Pack Base Camp Extreme, big bouncing bomb sleeping bag. But now I generally tend to use my mounted equipment down sleeping bag, which is a lot more expensive. I don't think that they have them in the military. I might be wrong. But I think there's a bit of a toss-up sometimes. It depends on what you want to spend your money on. I mean, if you've got a fixed budget and you want to spend the money on getting your airsoft kit sorted out, so you're not quite so invested in the camping element, then go for some cheaper stuff.
I definitely think there's no harm in going for civvy kit, as it were. As Mike said, sometimes civvy kit's actually slightly better. It's a tough one, I think, because it's at the end of the day, you're there to enjoy yourself. So as long as you're, like we've always said, as long as you're sort of getting yourself a good couple of hours kip, I know guys that have run bright orange survival sleeping bags, but they've put them in a bivvy bag, so they're not glowing in the dark and they're not doing it, and they've had a wonderful night's sleep and no one can tell the difference. And they're cheaper than going out and buying, I know what, a 260 odd quid sleeping bag, which you can spend that sort of money on. As long as you're comfy and it's within your budget and you enjoy the weekend, do it. Doesn't matter what other people think. I think
it's better to have the right equipment than expensive equipment.
Yes, 100%.
Because, I mean, ultimately you can go out and spend £100 on a jet boil, but fundamentally you just need something to be able to heat your food. And you know, we've chatted about fire maple systems. You know, maybe they're not quite the same quality as a more expensive bit of kit, but you know, it fundamentally operates the same. You know, the little BCB cook sets, the little Dragon Fuel systems, you can still use that to heat your food. You know, you can get one of them for a tenner. Yeah, it's not got quite the same functionality, but it's going to be able to get you through an event eating.
Yeah,
Not,
definitely.
you know, basically not dying.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be able to eat, you'll be able to have a hot drink and stuff. So I think that's quite important. Fundamentally, you just need to make sure you've got, you know, if there's an event kit list, or you can use the kit list from our website. We've got one on there that you can download. As long as you're making sure that you're bringing the kind of base level minimum kit that you need, it doesn't really matter where it comes from.
No, but it's got to be good quality.
Hold of it. Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be Gucci expensive. It doesn't have to break the bank. As long as it's going to do the job and survive.
Yeah.
Then it's worth whatever you spend on it, in my opinion.
We were at a camp out over Christmas, and one of the guys that was on that had a tent that leaked. I think he threw a basher over the top of it, but it might have been too late at that point. And that's a good example. You know, in terms of, I don't think it was a particularly expensive tent. I'm not sure, but obviously it's the tent. If that had happened on an event, that would have been so much worse, because that's going to ruin your event. We were just camping at the time, so that was, you know, it wasn't quite so much of a big deal. It was a pain, and I know he found it quite uncomfortable. But if you're at an event that you've paid to be at, you want to have that level of comfort and sort of security in terms of, you know, if you're going to get your head down, you're going to be able to get a bit of kit. So, you know, if you've got some rain kit that's not waterproof, or boots that are uncomfortable to run around in, it's just, you know, it's going to make your event crap. Which will subsequently have an effect on the people around you, because you'll be moaning all the time. They get annoyed with you for moaning, and it would just escalate.
Escalate like the chat is. Sorry, that is.
See you later, Terry.
Is blowing up. See you later, Terry.
Here we go. Ray says, own jet boils and fire maples. Fire maples perfect for airsoft and half the price of a jet boil. Also, Trangia. Where is it?
Trangia.
Oh, you haven't played that yet, have you? Have you played that yet?
I think so.
I thought that was the first one.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Right, we've got a load of comments. Let me try and run through some of these, because there's all sorts of stuff that's come in. I'll cover back first on Tom's point. So he said the best airsoft replica I've had was the TM MP5A5 recoil. You just couldn't get bags, and the worst was a Neutral Delta Nomad. So there you go. And Tom knows what he's talking about. So take some stock from that.
Yeah, I've got to admit, those TM MP5s, they were lovely. They were. I made the mistake of HPA in mine, and then I didn't like HPA, so I got rid of the whole lot. And now I want it back.
I've not had a recoil one. I've got a TMMP5, but it's just a standard AEG. Was it good then? I mean, yeah, I don't know, but I've not really had a lot of recoil weapons. They've generally always been just gas blowback.
Yeah, I just don't. The only weapon that I've ever had that wasn't a recoil is the M249. But I put such a heavy spring in it now, it just shakes itself to death anyway. So it's sort of got a recoil in there without actually having a recoil system. But yeah, I've always had either a gas blowback or something with a recoil. I just find it, other than my first ever airsoft weapon, yeah, ever since then I've kind of just stuck with some sort of recoil. I just find it a little bit more enjoyable to play. They might be crap, but it adds a tiny speck of realism in my eyes.
Oh, I get that. I do get that. Going back to the Viper, Les says, please don't say that about Viper. I'm looking at getting a full Viper rig set up. I mean, say
No.
there's some good stuff. There's bad stuff. I think there's also expensive kit that's not very good. There's things I've bought that I kind of regret having bought because potentially there's something better. But it's that classic, isn't it? You buy it and then you actually take it out and run it, and then you're like, I don't actually get on with this. And then you either give it away or sell it on afterwards. So
yeah, I've got to admit, I didn't get on with the swimmer's cut plate carrier that I bought from Warrior. I just didn't. It wasn't comfy. It slid around too much. So I bought that. Didn't really like it. Sold it. Then had to buy another DCS. Oh no, I bought a Recon, and then got on with that a lot better. So I ended up buying 2 plate carriers just to find one that I liked because there was nowhere really to go and try it on, which is a bit annoying.
And I've got so much kit that I really need to get rid of some at some point because it's just that kind of progression of kit, but I've never got anything going off the tail end. Like just accumulating and accumulating.
Ooh, I'll buy a shield.
I had one of the NCT dads over at the weekend, and I was showing him the study behind me, and he was just like, "That's amazing." And he went, "Is this all of it?" I was like, "No, I've probably got the same amount up in the loft as well." So. Yeah, we'll move on. There's so many good budget options, especially for the camping element.
Yes,
Completely
definitely.
agree on that front. Surplus kit is fine, but there are also plenty of non-surplus options that don't break the bank. Too many people like to flex with the cost of their kit.
Yeah, 100%. My cry trousers cost me £700, but I can't get them dirty. Shut up.
The best one is I played with someone that had bought all black kit at an event and then refused to go through some bushes and get it dirty. I was like, you're at a woodland event.
Yeah,
what are you expecting?
The best one we had was a guy and full cry, like cry JPC, cry trousers, cry underpants, like literally everything that he was wearing from head to toe. His whole get up must have cost him absolute thousands. He jumped out of a vehicle, and you know the dust tag rounds. They were allowing those at the event, and someone shot one at the vehicle, hit the vehicle, put the vehicle out of action, and covered the guy in blue powder. The bloke went mental. Do you know how much this kit costs? And then it started to rain, and it literally just started soaking in, and he just left the event. And complained and said he tried charging the organisers for cleaning the stuff, and they were like, "No."
See, I kind of get, mud and stuff. I don't have a problem with. I think if someone, because that's one of the reasons I don't really like paintball. It's just like how messy it gets, and like I know that the paint and everything is biodegradable and washable and everything like that, but ultimately, you get gunk and bits of like decaying paintball shell and stuff and everything. Whereas airsoft, I think, is paintball. The airsoft is, I think, a lot cleaner, isn't it? On that front, it's the same. I think there's the the marker BBs. Did you ever see those? They were like in like a dust, or it has like a marker dust on it, and there was always like the whole theory that if you shoot someone with that, the dust lands on your kit and it's going to make it dirty. I don't really get that necessarily, but I can probably agree that if someone's got like potentially blue dye soaked into their kit, that must be quite annoying.
But it's washable. It's water soluble.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well, then you can't really argue with that one.
Like, literally, you could go and jump in a river and it'd wash out. Like this.
I have to admit, some of my kit's covered in a blue dye from when I had the Valen. I put the compressible marker system on the Valen metal detector. So you pump it up, and it's got like a spray mechanism. So when you're walking along, you can mark bits of the ground with sort of possible IEDs and stuff. So sort of walking around, I pumped all this up. I was having a great time, and then I got back to my tent to disassemble it, but because it's pressurized, I disassembled it wrong, and the whole fucking thing just went inside my basher. Because I was just sitting underneath the basher at the time, and it went everywhere. I've got my kneeling pad is still blue in parts because I can't get it out.
You just come out looking like a Smurf.
Oh, yeah, that was quite entertaining. Sorry, I've got 20 odd chats I want to just rush through
Right,
quickly.
yeah, let's.
So Tom Hibbard said pretty much everyone that used bullpups in the real world has gone or is in the process of going back to conventional layouts, which is interesting. So on the DD Tarp, it is lighter, but I wouldn't want to be extracted with one with an injury, which is half their point. I completely agree. And that's ultimately, I guess, with the difference between surplus kit and civilian kit, and the use in airsoft. In the again, like the ballistic shields, you don't need a proper ballistic shield in airsoft. A bit of 2mm perspex is theoretically ballistic rated in airsoft.
Yeah.
But it's that realism and bits of kit. You see people carry real tourniquets around with them and full IFAK kits and stuff, and it's like you don't need that. You shouldn't be using tourniquets anyway, unless you're really trained on how to use them. I mean, I don't want to upset all the people in the chat that are going to shout at me about tourniquets, because I think we've always we've had that chat before. Don't use tourniquets; they're not good.
Yeah, I've done
yeah.
mine, so it's a band. I've done it. I've snipped it so it can't get tightened up. So it's basically just a Velcro with a bit of plastic stuck to it now. Like there's no way
But
of
ultimately,
tightening it
a
up.
little bit of bed sheet.
Yeah.
The number of events I've gone to is bed sheet bandages and stuff like that. Perfectly sufficient for an event, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Terry says, just buy what you can afford. Rage says, indeed, Terry, no one wants to look like us, though, do they? That's why we're the real cool kids. Tom said, this is an interesting point. I've seen vastly much more reverse snobbery around kit rather than looking down. Which, yeah, I can see that. I hadn't considered that one before. But yeah. Rage says it's not lots of them, but enough of them to need telling. So this is obviously in terms of some of the knobheads that you come across that do sort of feel that they're better than you.
But I think the knobheads are being outweighed by decent players now.
Well, I think the events that we've been to, we've definitely seen that.
Yeah. I hope so. Anyway.
Yeah. Tom says, for me, fundamentally, you need kit that's not going to let you or your team down, and you've practiced with it. It really doesn't matter. Completely agree on that. That's fundamental. You've got to test your kit before you get to an event, because if you find that things aren't waterproof, or they're not working properly, or you don't know how to set it up, like don't go to an event with a brand new tent and it's dark and raining when you've put it up for the first time, because I've done that and it's crap.
Yeah, it doesn't. It does not bode well.
Yeah. And then a factor, this is another one for Tom, a factor a lot of people don't think about with gear is IRR. More budget options can show up so bright under night vision, and that's another important point.
Yeah, didn't actually think of that. Yeah, I've got to admit, you can tell Viper and Emerson stuff from a mile away under night vision. And it doesn't even have to be good night vision. Like it can be Gen 1, and they still, you get a little bit of IR light on them. They look like a Christmas tree. Yeah, I didn't think of that actually. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I've got a baby bag that we use for nappies and bits and pieces like that, which is a kind of a multicam black pattern camo to it, but it's currently sitting under the baby monitor, which has IR sensors on it, so you can basically see the baby at night. And it's just white, like literally it's so bright, it's so reflective, because it is not a proper IR material. Basically it's just I'll be honest with you, in terms of the technological know-how, I don't really know the wording or terminology or nomenclature for it, because I know IR is obviously the infrared reflectivity. Is that IIR?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Infrared.
Yeah. It's basically it's your light. It's the, I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically your light. I'm sure Tom will jump in a sec. But I always thought it was basically how much light is reflected off of a certain surface.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's infrared or not. But
No,
I always
you're
thought
right.
it is.
You're right, because obviously the infrared, it's to do with the infrared light. So if you look at stuff under infrared, it's you'll notice different materials and different products and the like have they will look brighter under IR than other things will. But baby monitors and stuff, you can use those. It's funny enough something I've been using our baby monitor for, to test different bits of kit. You can actually see and hold them up and see what they look like, and you'll find that some plate carriers, for example, the molly on the plate carrier will be a different fabric to the fabric underneath.
Yeah,
it's connected to, and you can very clearly see it. It almost looks like you're wearing a black and white plate carrier.
Ring doorbells do that as well.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Just stand outside your house in your kit, and you can assess.
Yeah,
it.
on your phone, you can walk past it. Doop, doop, doop. Set it off.
John says, referencing to the IIR, I had a guy about 20 meters away and couldn't tell if I was on his team or the enemy team. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Apparently washing powder wrecks anti-IR as well, according to Kenny.
You can wash it out, yeah.
There you go. Can you spray it on?
I think you can buy an additive that you put in the washing machine.
Spray?
So you put, instead of putting your detergent in, you put this additive into your washing machine. There you go. Learnings.
Yeah.
I don't wash my stuff anyway.
Stephen Whitehead says, how does old DPM look through IR? I don't know.
I don't know.
Do some
I've never.
Yeah. I've got some stuff behind me, so I'll have a little play around later. Well, that's a lie. I can't do it tonight because I need to pack for Operation Machiavellian, which is this weekend. Otherwise, I'm not going to have any stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to pack tomorrow. Now all my stuff's here. I'm going to pack tomorrow.
Yeah. Tom says, don't wash it with anything that advertises making whites whiter, apparently.
Yeah. I feel like that was a joke, but also correct at the same time.
No, Kenny says the whitening agent makes you glow. So, yeah. That's apparently why the UK lot get new kit every tour they go on. It's interesting.
All right. There we go. Learning informations.
Sorry, I was just thinking if you could come up with like an IR cam cream, like if you mixed it with the stuff that they used to put in the washing machine, with it like make some sort of.
Would you want that on your face though?
Probably not.
Yeah.
You can't see me in normal light. I'm just patchy and red.
I think IR. I think I've seen lads wearing cam cream for my night vision, and I've got to admit they don't. You couldn't tell. So I do think they probably have got a little bit of something in there, because once it dries, it's not shiny, is it? So it does break up. Might have to do some science.
Yeah, it sounds like we have to do some
science. We're gonna have to do some science with night vision, ring doorbells, old school DPM.
Right. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can do so on our email at nofochat@hotmail.com. Our Instagram is at November_Foxtrot_NoFo, and the website is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk.
That is it.
We will be here next week at 8 p.m. on Wednesday with the second batch of the UK Airsoft ladies team.
Yeah. Brace yourselves for that one.
This is the southern contingent, I believe.
This is the southern contingent, so at least we'll be able to understand them this time. I'm going to get abused from Alex later, I think.
Should be a good one, because obviously, sort of a few different people with some different experiences, which will be.
And it's International Women's Day as well. So
it is, which is conveniently organised that we had UCAL on. So
yeah,
well done.
Look at that. Don't understand how that happened.
We know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Week after that, we're going to be talking Milsim roles. It'll be the third in our episode on Milsim roles. We're going to be looking at medics and other specialist roles such as EOD, negotiators, press, medics. Just looking at my patch wall just for inspiration. DEA, sort of specific taskings like interrogators and stuff like that. which will be a slightly different episode than normal. So yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, do so. You can throw some questions into the chat. All the questions that we haven't covered tonight, we will be adding to our database of questions, which we will pick up at a later date.
List.
So the next Q&A will pick them up then.
Our list of stuff.
Yeah. Thanks again, everyone, for your kind comments to Lance. We'll pass those along.
Yeah, definitely.
Much appreciated. And in the meantime, have a good week.
Yep, and stay NoFo. And anyone, we might see you at the weekend who's going.
Yes. If anyone's at Defiance events, some say hello. If you can find us.
If you can find us. Wow, ninjas.
We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
See you next week, guys.